I got laid off from my job. I had been working as an electrical trainee for almost 6 months. Everyone loved me and I was immensely popular in the company. I almost got laid off or fired in August, because of a few things. 1. I used my phone too much, i.e. pulling it out to check the time occasionally, answering texts from my family once in a while, and replying to work emails. 2. Taking too many bathroom breaks. I have IBS and IBD, so I had to use the bathroom once every hour, and I even explained to my journeyman the issue. 3. I was making some mistakes. Since everyone liked me, nobody told me I was making them, and they fixed my mistakes without notifying me at all. 4. I ate a handful of Skittles from the candy jar in the shop office. The boss accused me of eating all the Skittles, and I didn't. 5. Not taking a long lunch. Company norm but illegal according to state law is combining your rest breaks with your lunch to create a longer lunch. I didn't do that because I am pre-diabetic, and I needed the time to eat a handful of cashews or an apple and recharge. 6. Leaving early. Everyone told me that the shift was 7:3 on Thursday and 7:2 on Friday. I left at those times. Anyways, I was given a second chance, and I didn't use my phone as much. But on Thursday night on my way to a concert, my boss called me. He told me him and the vice president of the company had done some talking, and they were going to go ahead and lay me off. I just said okay because I didn't know what else to say. Please let me know what you think. Just to be clear, you were fired, not laid off. There is a big difference. Apply for unemployment. Were you union? If so, talk to your rep. If not, get in writing why you were fired. Some of the things you mentioned would be protected class and needing medical accommodations. Others aren't protected but means you weren't fired for reasonable cause and can collect unemployment if they say no. Just appeal. Next job, try to get as much policy in writing as you can. If co-workers are taking it light on you, tell them you need to learn from mistakes. Everyone loved me and I was immensely popular in the company. Apparently not. You were fired, not laid off. X200B. Looking back at your previous postings, you come off like a problematic employee. Health issues aside, sounds like they had just had enough of you. You're 18 and have a lot of learning to do when it comes to making it in the workforce. All of the minor things noted in your post are things easily rectified, as has been pointed out in your past threads. This sounds like a just firing and you sugarcoating the issues. I can't imagine why an apprentice would need to check his phone regularly during work. Any relevant information would be relayed to you by your direct supervisor. IBS pre-diabetic Skittles. A pattern is emerging here as well. You should likely re-examine your eating habits. Mistakes sounds to me like you didn't make good progress in 6 months and people got tired of fixing your shit. Speaking of others picking up after you leaving before work is done, if you're smart, you'll look at this as learning experience and make better choices going forward. Honestly, in the first 6 months of my career as a trainee, I would never be caught dead using my phone, except during lunch breaks. Just focus on learning your new career and be successful and dependable. You don't want to be in a situation where you're looking back wishing you'd done things differently. Fix the small issues with yourself and work ethic and try to be better than you were. Good luck. In the country I am from, employers are required to write you a letter that certifies that you worked there and how you were doing at work. There are certain code words like he was very popular or very social, which basically means he was spending a lot of time by the coffee machine and was chatting with his coworkers. I usually don't do this, but saw another comment mention it and it made me interested, so I read a few of your posts that appear to have led to this, and honestly, it seems like you brought this on yourself. In trade work, people are usually cold and have the mentality that yelling at someone is the best way to teach them. You have to have a strong work ethic. And it seems like every time your journeyman would look up, you were either on your phone, on a break, or hard to find. I would say that you should take a deep look at what you could have done differently, so if when next time comes, you won't lose your job. Laid off and fired really mean different things. It sounds like you will have to start over and do a better job of figuring out what is acceptable to the bosses and not just what your buddies tell you is okay. Breaks for food and toilets are human needs. Knowing the company rules about schedules is something else. Honestly, they probably let you go. BC 6 months is normally around when you can get FMLA, and then you'd be protected for your conditions like IBS and diabetes. I got a new job this year and ended up developing a pretty bad gluten intolerance, unconfirmed if it's celiac, that lead to me having terrible stomach pains, migraines, and having to go to the bathroom a lot with diarrhea when I did eat gluten, especially before I knew I was intolerant, lol. But I was able to get FMLA at 6 months, which protects me for my GI issues, and the state gives a handful of weeks that they will pay a portion of your time for the day. Jobs are replaceable. If you're good at what you do, you'll always find work. Granted, it's stressful to change. It is better than putting up with a shit company who allows shit things to happen. Bosses and managers love to point out how we're replaceable. And to a point we are. But then they've got to retrain or pay higher to attract already qualified persons. Ditch them. Leave a concise review with no emotion if able to do so. Move on with your life. As long as what you say is true, you've got nothing to worry about. If you were ever wondering why people still wear watches when they have the time on their phone, there you go. This is literally anti-work. Using your phone too much, too many breaks, and poor performance seem like reasonable fireable offenses. The only thing you said that you fixed is not using your phone as much. Unless you have legitimate bowel problems or received terrible training. It seems like you just unfortunately earned your first hard professional lesson. It doesn't matter if people like you. If your managers don't think you're worth it, then you're expendable. If you are pre-diabetic, you should stay away from Skittles or any sugar. You have IBS and you're eating candy? You sound like you sucked at your job. I think it was preordained the moment the second notice was given. Why, I can't say. But bosses decide these things on whims, and once they're said, it's a matter of navigating legalities. It doesn't sound like you are fit for a trade job. And especially not if it's customer facing. If you are rewiring my house, are you going to use my bathroom every hour? Good luck. Try looking for other options that suit your medical situations better. Welcome to the world of construction. Apply for unemployment. FYI. This will happen a lot if you stay in this career. Get used to it. You weren't laid off. This is a firing. A layoff would leave the door open for you to return. They have fired you and said laid off as a way to confuse you and hoping you don't file unemployment. You are now unemployed. File for unemployment. Search for a new job and keep it pushing, man. Honestly, I don't buy any of what you said except maybe the IBS. You were on your phone too much. As a typical 18-year-old, you made a lot of mistakes. You're pre-diabetic yet you're chowing down in Skittles in the office. Just do better at the next spot. Honestly, you sound like a hassle and like to talk a lot. I have IBS, but I have my symptoms under control. Maybe a doctor could help you out. This thread is hilarious. Take some accountability for yourself and get a grip.